chat to yours. This is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Steve KM9G, and we are doing that Coffee and Ham Radios thing, and my wife is making pancakes in the other room.
Pancakes.
Fair. No, I don't think we have bananas, but it's just not fair. It's not fair at all. I'm not having it. I see Jim in the chat. I was getting ready to say good morning to Jim, and then I realized it was showtime, and I can just come on the show and say good morning to Jim. So good morning to Jim.
Yeah, I just
and
howdy,
Jim,
Jim,
and everybody else.
Yeah, we've been full house
at it for a minute or two now. But Ape, good morning. How are you this morning, my friend?
Listen, I'm not going to lie. Last night I drank a few. I ran out of my Miller Lights, and I was just drinking. I was drinking. I can't even want to say it. I'm afraid I'll get made fun of. But truly hard seltzer.
You were drinking that piss poor porter stuff. What was it? What is that? Pissy pants porter.
Pissy pants porter. But I was drinking.
You should market that. Really. I mean, I don't think anybody else has it yet.
I did do this to myself, Curtin. You're right.
But no, it was a truly lime hard seltzer or lemon hard seltzer, something like that. And I don't feel right this morning. I can tell you that.
Oh, too many of those, huh?
I don't know. Yeah, I think one is too many of those. But
I'm not a seltzer guy, but I will drink one of those once in a while.
Oh man, they're not good.
Chuck, I can look to you as the voice of reason and responsibility, and as an actual role model of what to do right. What did you do last night?
What did I do last night? I've been looking at solar systems. To tell you the truth, I'm looking at solar system for my motorhome and my trailer. I'm actually thinking about if I pump up, because I have a lot of space and I don't care quite as much as putting stuff on my trailer. I have a lot of space on the roof of that thing. And I'm thinking it can be my solar generator for my motorhome. But I need to upgrade. I have solar on my motorhome already. I think it's 80 or 100. And I found a 210 watt. It's almost exactly the same size, but I guess new technology. And I was thinking about taking the easy way out and just changing that and changing the controller. So yeah, maybe a video on it someday.
I had a solar setup where I bought two of these Goal Zero Boulder panels, and they were very expensive, and they're only like 15 watts each, and they're pretty big. I mean, they're big panels, and I want to say they were like $150 a panel, but this was probably 8 years ago when solar panels were more expensive.
Hang on for a second, guys. Hang on 1 second. QRP Life in the chat has asked us to wait because his coffee is still brewing, so let's just wait for a second.
Okay, hang on. Is he going to let us know when?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. Is that like a 4 cup? Is that a Keurig? Is that a 12 cup?
Yeah, them Keurigs go quick.
Yeah, I mean, he could be done already. He could have been done by the time I saw the comment with the delay and everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
But so I had these two panels in the window, and I had them going into a solar controller, and I had them going into a deep cycle SLA battery.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that running for a long time, but I don't use it anymore. I should set it back up.
Oh man, I was going to show you the book. I just picked up the RV solar from Will Prowse, and I've been watching a lot of his videos.
The Church of Prowse.
Yeah, that guy's. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes even he goes slow, and sometimes it's too fast.
He's worked up too. He gets emotional about it, but he's got a great channel.
I know the feeling about getting like worked up and emotional and all excited. You know, most of my videos I record like 4 times because the first 3 takes are still like, 3x, 4x speed.
Check out this bad boy here.
It looks like John changed his name to Amateur
Solar
Radio on the air.
Nice, John.
Oh, wow.
So, M7 CPT, right?
Yeah, M7 CPT.
Yeah. So everybody's asking where Ham Radio Dude is this morning. So if you checked out Toads, Ham Radio Dude said he's off of his diet, and he showed this big, massive picture of breakfast. And once again, I can't have it. So
yeah, that picture was quite a spread.
He was super dedicated on his diet. I dieted too. I was really good there for like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then I just keep going to these, like, I've got grandkids and stuff, and they're all having birthday parties and stuff, and just never a good thing, and I just get back to it. That's an 80-watt solar panel, Ape, and it was
That
like
should keep you topped off.
about $100. Tokyo, and tell you the truth, when I went to Arizona, that thing actually, Javi was down there with me. We went to that ham fest down there, and he knew more about it at the time than I did. And he said that thing actually puts out pretty well, and it comes with it will charge lithium batteries, which was kind of cool.
He's pointing at his solar panel when he says it puts out really well.
Yes,
But they have like, I don't know much about solar panels, but like there's a difference in the density of the cells. Like you have monocrystalline and polycrystalline, I think.
Mono's the way to go.
What's that?
Mono's the way to go.
And then there's also a certain way that they wire the cells together so that the screen can sustain damage without breaking, right?
Going totally dead.
Yeah, Will actually doesn't like the flat flexible ones. The only one he likes is that one that what's it, Julian?
Jim's right there with me.
I think it's called Power Film. Is that?
Oh, you're talking about OH8 STN? Yeah,
something like that. Those things are just. They're not the average person can't buy those things. They're just out.
Well, they're military grade.
Yeah,
like the one I want's $1,000, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a solar panel that I'll use 5 times a year.
No, I hear good things about used panels.
It doesn't do any better than what you can buy for $100. I mean,
we know this gal
except it's portable.
Yeah, that inherited 70 acres, and I was talking to her, and she's like, "What should I do with all this property?" Because she was thinking about selling some of it to housing. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Why wouldn't you just find some venture capitalists and open up a solar farm?" You know what I mean? I was like, they obviously require maintenance and stuff like that, but I mean, it's not like you're growing corn or something that you have to plant and water and worry about bugs and all that other stuff.
They maintain it, I think so.
How close is she to the power company?
Not far.
So that was my deal. I'm like 8 miles away from the power company, and I was talking to them, and they're like, "Yeah, you're just like 2 miles too far away from us." But they would have leased the land, they would have put the panels up, they would have done all the maintenance, they would have drug out all the wiring and everything, and then I just would have gotten a check every month. And I was really just more looking for like, just give me free power, depending on how much that check is, not leaving money on the table.
Right.
My son lives near LA and kind of in the higher desert area, and they just have acre after acre of solar panels out there. So, and I think that's, I mean, solar is kind of the way to go. It's that and wind. I don't know about the wind. I guess it kills too many birds though. But
well, the thing is with the solar panels, like years ago, you can pick any president, doesn't matter which one. Mm-hmm. We should have said, hey, our number one thing is breaking dependency on foreign fuels. I'm not being political, so everybody just calm down.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we give so much money for energy to other countries, like buying natural gas, buying oil, and all that other stuff. And at the time, you had all these people be like, "There's no way to harness the sun to do that." And the sun, like the only reason we're here on Earth is the sun, right? If it wasn't for the sun, we wouldn't be here. So it definitely can do it. And people are like, "Well, it's not cost effective," and it's like nothing is cost effective at first.
Nothing,
right? But it will be in time, and so we're really behind the curve on that.
They've improved a lot. Arnie says that solar panels are about 50 cents per watt. I think right now they're about $1 a watt. But if you can buy used ones for like 50 or less, Will actually has a place that you can buy 250 watt solar panels. They're used, $50 a piece.
Well, but see, it depends too. Like if you want to have a charge controller built in. It depends on what type of connectors you want to do. Like I actually have a pretty nice solar panel that I bought last summer, and I don't remember how much it was, like $120. I think it's a 60-watt solar panel, but it has like USB out, it has 5-volt out, it has 12-volt, out.
So like the one I got, kind of.
Yeah, and the thing is, it has a charge controller in it, and so I'm a little concerned about that because a lot of times charge controllers are really dirty from an RF standpoint.
I still need to I'm going to do a test on mine and a little video on it because I had it out up at like the Rubicon one time, and I had my fridge in the back. I think it was my fridge that was dirty, but because it wasn't there the whole time, and then all of a sudden it was there and the fridge was running. So and it's got pretty cheap charge controller. It's probably a PWM, which is the cheaper those are.
Maximum PowerPoint tracking, MPPT.
Yeah, $3, to make them, and they sell them for 15. So, but it does a pretty good job. And I've changed my mind. I was going to throw a flat panel on my 4Runner, but I think now I'm just going to charge off my battery while I'm driving, and then charge off of the solar, the one I just showed you, while I'm resting. I'll just make a good either put it across my windshield, point it towards the sun, or make a little stand for it or something. The nice thing about having it separate is you can, because a lot of times when you camp, like in my motorhome, I don't want to like camp right out in the sun. I want to be under some trees or something.
Sure.
So you'll lose it, and that's where the MPPTs work better, because they will draw more. When I understand, they draw more power during the day.
I was going to say for your 4Runner, you do that off road on that 4Runner. I wouldn't want to put anything on its roof that was going to break like that.
Yeah, and I was going to go with the flexible ones and just glue it, but they're not very good that way, because you have to have air under them.
Oh no! I would get the suitcase kind that you fold out, like you were saying. Put it in the back of the 4Runner. Yeah.
So my buddy had a refrigerator freezer in the back of his 4Runner, and he had a separate battery that he used to power that.
That's what I'm doing.
And the battery was charged, so the battery was isolated from the engine or the electrical system. But when I say isolated, it would pull energy from the main electrical system, main battery, to charge, but it wouldn't give any back. Right. So it was always being topped off when you drove it around. And this dude would drive around with like Nutty Buddies and stuff like that in the back of his, always eating them. I think he did that just so you could show that he had a refrigerator in his car. But,
I got one of those 12-volt fridges off of Amazon one day, and it's an off-brand. It's not like an ARB or
he had the ARB.
Or as Will calls it, the ARB.
Right.
He's not a wheeler for sure. But so far the thing has been really good. And Ed, my buddy Ed, bought one. He's like, he ran his for like 2 or 3 weeks straight off his camper battery, and he says it's working great. So far so good. So, and it was like a third of the cost of an ARB. And from what I understand, if you look at them closely, it's like a lot of things, rebranded stuff. You can look at the same one that costs twice as much, and you can tell it's the same exact one.
Well, it's hard to tell if it's rebranded or if the other one is a knockoff and is not made to the same quality level.
Yeah, you never know for sure if it's the same quality, because even on solar controllers, Renogy has one, and they're exactly the same ones, are rebranded, but they are different from what Will says. He says the lugs are bigger on the I forget the other brand, a Rich Solar's brand. Exact same solar panel controller though. Hey, sorry, I got us off topic. Sorry, guys, but
I was going to say we weren't. Yeah, we weren't.
I thought it was solar panels, not solar panel day.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, I enjoy a good solar conversation. I've got a 100-watt Renogy solar panel. I've got an MPPT controller, and then I have this 600 amp hour forklift battery, and yeah, I can't even pick it up with my tractor. It's so freaking heavy. My tractor runs on the front 2 wheels. Good thing it's 4-wheel drive. Just carrying that thing into the garage to get it set into place. I'm going to get a pretty penny for that when I take it down to the scrapyard.
Chuck, I don't know if you see that in the chat, but Joe Collins is saying that he can get you batteries for free.
I saw that. So, that's pretty awesome.
So you might want to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and FEP Labs is saying that he got his Chins 100A battery. He dropped $500 on that thing.
That's cheap. You know what?
Yeah, he did a video
for 100 amp hour.
Yeah, from Ballon. That's $1,000. Or I think right now they're $799 on sale.
He says he's fixing to put an inverter on it. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a Ballon battery, but Will actually tore those apart. There's 3 different brands. There's Chins, and there's a Zoom. They're all the same exact batteries, and he says they're quality-wise they're not too bad, especially for the one of them's like I think $399 now, that Zoom one, but it was as soon as he posted that, it was out of stock.
Yeah, I noticed that when he does stuff like that.
If he posts something, you got to be like the first person to watch it and then buy it if you want it,
If I bought a $500 battery, my wife would stab me.
Yeah, I'm going to do 200 watts on my motorhome, or not on my motorhome, my trailer. And then I'm sizing my charge controller for 400 watts. So
FEP Lab says it's back in as of yesterday. See, he is a pusher and an enabler.
Oh, what's he doing now?
Hey, Gordon,
Well,
how you doing,
Amper
buddy?
Time. That's the other battery. Amper Time's one of them.
But now he's trying to get us to buy $500 batteries.
Mm-hmm.
I went and looked for that Milady battery on Amazon the other day, and there isn't anything more than the 6 amp hour right now. And I was looking for at least an 8.
Yeah.
The 16s were in stock not too long ago. My buddy says the 36 amp hours have been out of stock for a long time now.
Yeah, I should have bought them when they were there. Cool. So we got a sticker pack we're giving away today. When are we doing that?
I think we're gonna do that. We got 80 people watching the stream right now, and we're pretty early, so I want to make sure we get enough time. But maybe if we can get up to 100 people watching the show, we'll take a look at it.
I want to see if Tito can pull it off like I did yesterday. Put me on the spot big time.
I want to try it. I think it'll be awesome to try that out. So dude's got a link to a Miati battery that he just posted in the chat. And then I found another one, Lossigy. I gotta say, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna do it. The name of the company that sells the battery is Lossigy, Lossigy. That's kind of a dumb name for a product. My immediate thought is it ain't gonna work just by the name.
What about Chins? That's the Chins battery.
Yeah, but that will
just inviting trouble.
Pretty well built, man. Oh, he's got.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I just think that it's so. Some of the names that people put on stuff is just.
Oh yeah.
But it's also funny when they put like best power.
Hey, yeah. Chins, I don't know.
Chicago Power.
Chins might not be a bad one.
Bad name or bad battery?
But no, might not be a bad name. It's
I don't know. I think it sounds silly.
Made in China. Just saying.
Arnie, I'd say we're sorry, but you got a $500 battery and a 3D printer. So I mean, like you're kind of like up either way. I mean, like,
hey, but what I knew lithiums were a lot better than lead acids for one, the weight, right? They're like a third of the weight or something. But Will really kind of struck it home on me the other day when I was watching one of his videos, and he goes, 100 amp hour lead acid battery is good for 50 amp hours use.
Right, because you charge them the way the discharge
50%,
cycle works.
50%. But the lithium's good for 100 is good for 100. So I mean,
the other one is a charge
cycle.
I have
3 100s in my motorhome, so I could go to technically, if you double what the other ones are, it's like going from 150 to 300 for sure.
Yeah. Before we get too far away from Arnie's comment, I learned fairly recently in my adult life that sometimes you just move money from one type of bank account to another. So you moved $500 of Federal Reserve notes over to $500 equivalent worth of battery power, and that battery power is inflation proof. So that's an investment, I would say. $500 battery is going to power that refrigerator through a brownout and keep all your meat nice and cold like it should be.
That's right.
Maybe meat wasn't the right analogy to use.
You know what, Arnie? I'll put a link to that fridge too, because then you can run it off that battery.
That would be awesome. Lithium's greater than gold. See, RQ gets it. Yeah.
I'm being sold. They also say like a minimum of 10 years if you don't overcharge it and stuff.
So I heard the other day, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. I heard the other day the discharge cycle thing. So they say like your battery's good for 3,000 cycles. And as long as you don't get to the bottom, you haven't achieved a cycle. So if I pull 20% off the top and then recharge 20%, that it doesn't affect the cycle count. I still have 3,000 cycles after that. Is that right?
I don't know for sure. I
don't know that one.
That Will is actually saying charge a little below the highest.
I've heard that,
form, and that'll make them last longer too. I'd never heard that before.
I can't.
Well, the other one is that you want to charge battery slow, right? Like some people are like, I want to fast charge this SOB, but
lithium you can charge faster though, and not hurt them. I think.
Well, the problem is that heat, right? So when a battery gets hot, it builds up its internal resistance, and I believe they call that R. And what that does is it causes a problem with the electrons moving from anode to cathode. I think that's the direction they go. I'm not a total battery guy, but I am an enthusiast. And so when you heat them up, you build up that resistance. So they say the cooler you keep them during a charge cycle, the longer life you get out of them. So I don't know.
So check out this thing. I got a QSL card from Rolly yesterday morning during Coffee and Ham Radios. I made a contact with Rolly on FT8 and on 40 meters. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
He sent me this card first thing this morning. So Rolly, thank you very much. That was a fantastic content. And maybe while I'm here sharing out this screen, maybe we can do a little bit of, I don't know, some on topic stuff. Too soon?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Yeah. So today we're talking about UnUns, and I, for a long time, was really confused about what these things did. And then a friend of mine just made it like blindingly obvious for me. What happens with a UnUn or a Ballon or whatever? First off, it's unbalanced to unbalanced, or balanced to balanced is what you're trying to transform. And what you're trying to transform is the ohms of impedance that's on the wire to the ohms of impedance that your radio likes to see. Your radio is designed to be happy at 50. It'll go down to 20. It'll go up to 70, and it'll complain a little bit, but you can make it happen. Watch the heat on your final transistors. Modern radios have temperature gauges and fans and stuff built into them. Otherwise, you got to do that stuff up in your head while you're doing your transmitting work. But that's what this thing is doing, is it's trying to match the impedance mismatch on your antenna wire to the impedance that your radio likes. And so it's real simple, plain mathematics once you figure it out. Like this one's 49 to 1. And I think, Ape, you were saying it's trying to match like an end-fed half wave 2500 to 50.
Yeah, right around there. So the reason they call it a 49 to 1 is because you get all 49 bands on one antenna. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. But, yeah, so your coaxial cable is a 50 ohms impedance, right? Your transmission line. And when you look at a dipole antenna, you have your highest amount of current in the center with your lowest voltage at the center feed point. As you go towards the ends, your current goes down, your voltage goes up, which makes your impedance go up. So when you feed a dipole at the end, you're looking at 2,450 ohms, give or take. And so that 49 to 1. So you pulled up the calculator and showed it the other day. If you take 2,450 divided by 50, by 49, you get 50 ohms. And that's your impedance ratio. So a more appropriate name for instead of calling it an UnUn, it's really an impedance. It's an impedance transformer. Yeah. So it really is just an impedance transformer. So you hit it right on the head, Tio.
Yep. And that takes all the math out of it. So I don't know. I read this once in a book and I don't remember what it is, but there's some wizardry here with these primary turns being doubled up and some mathematics with the rest of the turns. And that's where you get that. So Ape, are you better off explaining that?
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways to wind a 49 to 1 transformer. But in this example, the first initial piece of it, you have two wires that are coiled together, and they're called your primary turns. So this one has two primary turns. And then the second wire goes around 12 more times. And so that wire goes around 14 times. And so there's a ratio there. If you take 14, you divide it by 2, you get 7. 7 times 7 is 49. So that's the ratio that you get there.
Keep doing math on camera.
And then sometimes you'll see this exact same one wound with 3 primaries and 21 total turns, and that would be again, it gets 7, but they would call that a 3 to 21. This is a 2 to 14.
Yeah.
Now, when you have smaller, like here's an UnUn that's 2 and
get
14.
You soloed up there.
Yeah,
where's the button? All right, go for it, Ape.
This one is 2 and 14, like in the diagram. But what I should have done is this as a 3 to 21 because it's a smaller toroid. So they say for whatever reason, smaller toroid. This is a T140-43 toroid, but they say with the smaller ones you should go 3 to 21. But this one works fine for me. I use it up to 100 watts SSB and somewhere around 75 for digital. It's probably safer to use it at 50 on digital, but if it burns up, it burns up. Now, your toroid can get hot, and it's called a Curie temperature when it hits a saturation point from a heat stamp perspective, and it'll stop working correctly. Now, I've heard people say that they're ruined when that happens, which is not true. They're only ruined if they physically are compromised, like they crack or break or something like that. You can get them hot, let them cool off, and you're just fine.
Yeah, your SWR goes right back down.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is, if you look at this diagram, you can see the 2 turns that are wrapped. You can have 3 wires there. You can have 4 wires there. You can have a certain number of turns as long as the math works out. And there's a guy in Michigan that does one of these guys, and he's got taps on his, and he can do a 1-to-1, a 4-to-1, a 9-to-1, a 49-to-1, a 68-to-1, and it's all off of the same toroid. And I think that's pretty neat looking. It looks like one of those shurikens.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that impedance transformation.
I think
Adam asked if the plastic gets warm or hot, and yeah, for sure. Like, you had one, Chuck, that was burned up, didn't you?
Yeah, let me find it.
Is it the crazy guy in Michigan and his low wire out? Yes, it is.
I got this one here. Chuck sent me this one. I thought this one had a mark on the back, but it doesn't. But this is a 49-to-1 from.
I think I got that packed
my
away
antennas.
someplace.
This is the one you sent me, Chuck. This one is.
That one was good. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fantastic. UnUn.
So dude's asking what causes NFED to be more susceptible to interference as opposed to a dipole, or is that a myth? And my answer to that is, and I only have heard this from an Elmer, so I don't have any documentation to back it up, is that the noise comes in at the takeoff angle of a vertical or an NFED half wave closer to than it does to a dipole. So they're actually in the noise. That's what I have heard.
Yeah, so it's my understanding it's all around the vertically or horizontally, and I just did a backwards orientation pattern. So if you take your NFED half wave and you feed it like an inverted V, it'll be the same as a dipole in an inverted V. It's when you get the more vertical you get some of that interference pattern. But
verticals are usually more noisy.
Yeah, because the ambient sound that's in the atmosphere is vertically polarized, not horizontally polarized. So even if you took your dipole and you bounded your dipole vertically, you would be susceptible to noise. The other thing is that so antennas are electrical, right? And they use AC current. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm an enthusiast. So if I get any of this a little bit off, I'm fine being corrected in the comments below. But AC current is what we use in antennas, which is equal and opposing current. So when you're pushing juice this direction, there's juice coming that direction. A lot of people will say, I don't use a ground and I don't use a counterpoise on my NFED. I use the shield of the coax cable. Well, that's fine and good. But when you're doing that, you have RF energy radiating on your coax. And now your coax has become part of your antenna system. So if your coax is all willy-nilly running all over the place and laying on the ground, that impacts your radiation pattern, which impacts your RX capability, which increases your noise. So the lesson there is just put a counterpoise on it.
Yeah, you're bringing that noise right back into your shack. So Joe Brett's asking a question about why do we use a 4-to-1 Ballon on an 80-meter loop rather than a 49-to-1 UnUn? And so this goes back to that mathematics we were talking about. If you measure the impedance before the Ballon on the 80-meter loop, you will find what it's at, and you'll do the divide by 4, and it should come close to 50. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong with your setup.
Isn't that around like 250 or something like that?
Yeah, it's around 200, 250 is your feed point impedance when a loop. Yeah. So there's a couple of, like there's a rhombic loop and then there's a delta loop, which is more like a triangle shape. Both of those you use a 4-to-1 on.
Mm-hmm. The delta is easier, I think.
QRP for life is saying vertical polarization noise is a myth. The reason vertical antennas pick up more noise is because they are omnidirectional.
I can buy that too.
Well, so is a low dipole though. If you have an 80-meter dipole, it's not directional. If you
Morning, Shane.
get it really high. I mean, I agree with him.
This is a good one. Ape knows this one.
And I think vertical noise is different noise too, because I've had both before, and sometimes the vertical noise was better for listening than it was off my. Actually, I think I had an NFED up at the time.
I saw it. I'm looking for my test thing.
This is the answer that we were just telling Joe Brett.
Yeah.
200.
I have too much crap around here.
And I wish I could find that video. Ape, I think you shared the video with me about the 49-to-1 transformer with the capacitor connecting between transmit and ground and how that works. There was somebody that had it hooked up to a scope and they kept adding more and more frequency to it. or less and less. I'm not sure which direction that they went, but you could see where your current takes the path of least resistance, and that path is either through the transformer and out the antenna, or it's through the transformer and out to ground, and that changes like halfway through the frequency range. So if you're at 7 megahertz and you're going to 14, somewhere around 12, I'm making numbers up on purpose, somewhere around 12, it's going to switch from inductance to capacitance, and you need to switch over to using that capacitor, and all that stuff just happens magically. And you can watch it. If you don't have the capacitor there, you'll see that it's working, it's not working. And that's
so I in the antenna build, the 4901 antenna build I did for the American Radio Relay League, I did the sweep test with and without the capacitor, and you can see where it changes. So Arnie was asking, so this is a 49-to-1. One of these is the ground, and one of these is the antenna or the aerial. If you want to test this, you can test how well it transforms impedance at frequency. And what you would do is you'd want to run a wire from here to here, and in the center of that, you need 2,450 ohms of resistance. I don't have that resistor, but I have a 2,500 ohm resistor. So I run that across and I sweep it with my NanoVNA, and I get around 51 ohms flat across all frequency. Now, something to remember is that a lot of capacitors are not clean, right? So they introduce some reactance, so you can get some variability in there. So it's just something to think about. But that's how you can test these to make sure that they transform impedance before you put it up on your antenna. And then, so we put a capacitor here, and like Dio was mentioning, so these things have a pure resistance, right? They have a certain physical resistance, but they also have a complex impedance, or they also called imaginary resistance, that changes with frequency, and that's called reactance when they change with frequency. And so this thing will become more and more resistive as your frequency increases, like Tio was saying. So you put this capacitor in to take a shortcut. So instead of going all the way around all these turns, it jumps over to the shorted outside, and it jumps out to the shorted outside and bypasses that resistance, and then gives you a better SWR. Hopefully I said that right.
So on the 49-to-1s, didn't they kind of go to also? There's a reason that they were going to a mix 451, I think it was, right? For certain bands.
Yeah, there's difference. So like mix 51, 52, and 61 generally 61. are higher up in your frequency. I prefer to use a mix 43 because that gets me from around 40 meters, 60 meters, something like that, all the way up through 6. But some people will want to use like 52 mix because they want to get on 80 meters, and they say that one works a little bit better, a little lower in the band. So it's best just to have a couple different mixes to play around with. But when you want to do common mode choke, mix 31 works best for that. So it's a good idea if you buy Toroids, buy a couple different mixes and play around with them and find out what works.
And write it on them. Write it on them when you get them.
Yeah, as soon as you get them, mark them, because trying to figure out what they really
don't
are.
Don't ask why I say that. But,
yeah, I've got
Sharpies in this gold color, which is fantastic for writing on black.
Silver.
Yeah,
I have silver ones too.
Silver? What?
Yeah, they make silver ones too. Yeah,
I don't know anything about silver ones.
So John's asking if a 49-to-1 requires a high voltage capacitor for QRP levels. So the capacitor is a function of frequency resistance. It's not to do with power level.
I think I use a 50K.
Ape, you're skipping ahead, Ape. We haven't gotten to that question yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
look at this one.
Question in reference to the MFJ antenna the Ape showed yesterday. Would it help to put that antenna counterpoise on it and use the lower set of arms as tuned radials? I don't know. I don't really know anything about that antenna.
I wouldn't do a counterpoise and tune radials. I would do one or the other.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the antennas over there, and it's heavy, so I'm not going to get it. But
that one was made to be in the on a post or something. Or
it was
probably a tuned radios. I mean, that goes back to the CB days. That's the way they're made. They just usually they're rigid.
And then Peter asks, "Can you run the 49-to-1 as an inverted L?" Yes.
Yep.
Sure can.
Ben says,
any way you want to.
Wait, say that again. That's an extra test question. That again. And then we keep going down here. Again. And that was that. Now you can answer John's question.
So he's asking if the 49-to-1 is required for high voltage capacitor for QRP levels. I'm not 100% sure I understand what you're saying, but the capacitor is not required because of power levels that are going through
Bring
here. It's
that
required.
picture up again, Tio. It tells which one to use.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the wrong button. I hit the remove button instead of the share button.
Oh man, I thought I was leaving.
Yeah, but so what you need to remember though, the end of your dipole antenna has extremely high voltage. So even though you're only transmitting at say 10 watts and your radio is running at 13.8 volts or whatever, that gets amplified at the feed point of your antenna, especially if you're using an end fed. So yeah, I would use I guess the short answer is that I would use a high voltage capacitor.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. They're the same price.
What's up, Izzo?
Yeah. So they're talking about colors from different vendors, and from what I understand, the color yellow toroids from one vendor are not the same mix as the color yellow toroids from another vendor. Is that right?
That's correct.
They're supposed to be right, but they're not.
Yeah. So identify them yourself. And another thing for Arnie, the easy way to identify that, if you have a random mystery toroid, is to wind it and then hook it up to an antenna and measure the impedance and see what you get. If your impedance comes out at 50, then you've got the right kind for that kind of antenna. And since you know what that kind of antenna is, it's now a 49-1, or it's a 9-1, or it's a 4-1, or whatever. So yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to wire this stuff up and take the easy way out.
Yeah, the best way, if you have an unknown toroid, is to compare it to known toroids. And you can hook it up to your nano VNA, and then you can do a return loss sweep across the set of frequency. And you will get similar results. So you can say, oh, well, this one has the same pattern as the mix 31, so it must be a 31. But at the same time, like a mix 31 from Palomar might perform differently than a mix 31 that you get from DX Engineering, because they might source those toroids from different places. So the important thing is if you're really concerned about it, just sweep them and see what your performance is going to look like, and then make the determination if that's the right toroid for you or not.
So Gordon shared a video out from Callum. Improve your receive before your transmit signal, and it's Callum's latest video on how to make a better receive. And the title is "Any Fool Can Transmit," and any fool can transmit. I agree.
They talked about a ground loop antenna or something. I watched a little bit of that one. That was one of them, anyhow.
I'll link that in the chat right now. All right. Arnie says, based on your great explanations, your hangover cannot be too serious.
Imagine how good they would be if it wasn't.
No. Sometimes I talk to Ape when he's not like sideways or like trying to come back to vertical. And
he warns us.
It's weird, man. Like, you want to see Ape on fire. Oh my God. Stand back.
Yeah, he types way too fast, but you can't understand most of it.
Right. I'm not sure I do either.
Chuck, on the other hand, Chuck likes to leave like words out of sentences. And usually the words that he leaves out of his sentences are the ones that are like the most meaningful. So I'm like, Chuck, what are you talking about again?
Yeah, my fingers are too fat for the keyboard.
I think
so I always hit extra letters.
Yeah, sometimes I get on a roll, and I totally.
This is how you type, though, Chuck. You're like this.
No, I'm up to like.
He types like Scotty. two fingers.
About 8 fingers now.
Hello, computer.
Maybe only 6 sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Wire them up first.
Yeah, for sure. I have a video.
Like take the easy way out.
I have a video that shows it. It's called Toroids, Ballons, and Chokes, or something like that. There's 1 and 2, and in there I show how to wind them to test for impedance, and then how to hook them up to the nano VNA and how to do the test. So
I want to.
Chuck did invent transparent aluminum. If you look, Chuck's actually the guy that was in that scene. So it's DeForest Kelly. It's Montgomery. What was Scotty's name? Now I'm drawing a blank. And it was Chuck. What was Scotty's name?
I want to ask Ed if he got his antenna tuned yesterday. Just he can throw it in the chat.
We're up to 98 viewers. We're getting close to sticker time, folks.
Well, do you want to do the we're supposed to talk about the RF finder, right? Do you want to?
We are supposed to talk about the RF finder. Yes. Let me get that plan. So what we've got is we've been working on this rig expert thing that, thanks Don, that Don made us all go out and buy, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So you get your rig expert board, and this is your antenna analyzer, but you can't do a whole heck of a lot with it out of the gate until you hook it up to a bunch of other things. So you get yourself an Arduino Uno And you can wire it up with other things, like Ape showed how to wire it up straight off of a breadboard with a USB UART, USB to serial adapter. You can hook this directly up to a Raspberry Pi if you want to do that. But let me show you how I got it all soldered up. So let's watch this one. It doesn't start with a priority mailbox filled with gear and junk. I don't know. This one does. What you're going to need for this is an Arduino Uno. This is a knockoff clone. We'll see how well this works. If not, I've got a backup. You will need the Rig Expert AA30.0 board. And you know, for how lightweight this thing is, they sure do charge a lot for it. You will need some pin headers. And then there's some other stuff in here that we'll get into a little bit later in the video, but that's what we're going to need for this part. All right. So I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve for making this work. The pin headers are going to need to go on the bottom of the Rig Expert board. And you see these little holes here and this little bump out on the board. And you see the little holes here and the little bump out on this board. You're going to want to put it on like so. And your pins and pin headers are only going to fit in one way because they don't need all of the pins to do all of the things. They're only using a couple of the ones that they actually need. So what we will do is make this happen. And so for me, that is going to be counting out the number of pins and then cutting off the extras with my flush trim cutters. So what I do is I find the right number of pins to cut. Hold on to both sides when I cut them. This one looks good. And that one will be for there. So what I will do is put it in there for a placeholder. And then the same thing with this set of pins here. They will go in and we will cut them to the right length. And I don't have enough hands. Okay, and what we've got now is we've got all those pin headers cut out, and I had a couple of blowouts where I cut too close, and then I have that much left over. So we'll save that for more projects in the future. We'll toss the trash in the trash. And the trick that I was going to show you guys is put your pin headers in your sockets. In my case, my sockets were already aligned, but if your sockets are not already installed, what I would do is I would marry them all up. That's a great idea. And then marry everything up like so, and then I would tape it together and put down one pin, one pin, one pin, one pin, and then I would move the tape over here and I would do the same thing. I'd put in one pin there, I'd put in one pin there, I'd put in one pin there, and I'd solder in one pin there. That way you've got 4 anchor points. You can double check that everything's okay. You can take your soldering iron and touch it up and reflow your solder and squeeze it together the way you need it to be. And then once everything is in the right configuration that you think it's good for, go ahead and finish up all the rest of the solder. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the soldering right now on this. Like I said, mine already came with the pins installed on my Uno. I just need to install them on my Rig Expert. So let's get after it. My phone rang right there. Okay, and so the magic of doing it this way is that your pins and your pin headers are all lined up and good to go for when you want to take it off and put it back on. There you go.
That's a really good idea of using the pin headers like that to hold it together. I use this super sticky blue tack, and this stuff is sticky. So I'll just leave it at that.
I've been meaning to try that.
I did a similar thing as Tio, except I just basically set mine on my table with those pins in, and I grabbed each, and I did the same thing. I did one corner of each one, and then I did like he did, and I plugged it in. I was afraid to solder hooked up to the other pins, to melt something, but I didn't realize you were only going to do 4 corners. That was a good idea. Mine worked good because because just the weight of the board itself held them down flat enough.
Yeah, there's a good amount of
they were
friction there.
thrusted. Yeah.
We got the boards at DX Engineering.
Yeah, and I think they're also at Gigaparts too. They're around, so I mean they're definitely available. But we didn't find out until after we started the project that they had discontinued the board. But they're still around. We can end out the stock and be the last ones to have these in our hot little hands. That'll be awesome. And
Yeah,
Kurt was
but
like,
we
I
also
was
kind of. Oh, sorry, dude.
It's like Kurt was saying he was waiting for the pinheaders to fly. I'm like, I've done that trick once or twice before. It's not fun.
But we kind of got this more for the project aspect. I mean, it's going to be great to have an antenna analyzer, but we kind of got it just because we wanted to do the project. My pin headers are segmented, and that's probably never going to come across on here. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that's the same way mine are.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to use any kind of snips. I just bent it.
Yeah, I did break one like that too, but I used snips on the first three.
But I have incredible grip strength, so I was just able
Like
to,
it's almost like an ape.
Strength.
Yeah.
So I was able to just. And I did mine at 650 degrees Fahrenheit, I think is what it is.
I do 640 because 640 is all you need.
Mine says
That's
5.
I
So
would
I
do
don't
it.
know.
That's a Bill Gates reference.
I did it at a level 5.
Maybe it's 500. I don't know. I got the
And
cheap
then-
one, sorry, but it works great.
Kurt's asking where I got that solder caddy. I got that off of AliExpress. It was like $3 or $4 and 3 months worth of waiting for it to show up in the mail. Not the best piece of kit. It does the job. It's already broken once. But for $3, I couldn't build one myself for that price. So
Well, the nice thing is that coming from China, it's probably made out of lead, just like the solder, right?
it's exactly. It doesn't even smell any different. And then Bill had the same question, so we covered that one.
Shooter ready, steady, or standby is absolutely right.
Now, I've noticed on mine, I've run a few. I'm still trying to learn how to use this thing because it's not quite as easy as a regular rig expert. But I get different. I mean, I get different when I scan it, different scans. But my antenna, because of the ladder line, it does change sometimes with the wind. So I'm wondering if that's what it is. But sometimes it was like a big change.
Yeah, the wind will do it.
What do you
So-
use to film overhead shots?
Yeah, so this is Mike. Mike's just started a YouTube channel. So I wonder why he's asking about this.
I don't know.
Ham-Fisted Radio is his YouTube channel. Go over and give him a subscribe after this show's done, folks. Weird question. What do you use to film overhead shots, a mic and a boom? I actually have like one of these microphone arms, like this one here is on. And I have a camera mount for it that is a quick disconnect, quick release. And I have a Canon camcorder, kind of like the Sony that Chuck's showing. So yeah, same setup. And I film it upside down, and then I fix it in the software afterwards because just the way the camera sits on the desk.
Yeah,
I
I learned that from Crash Course.
The camera's
next time, turn it upside down.
camera's looking at me like this, which means the camera's upside down in terms of the looking at the desk. But the other alternative would be to have it to come over my head, and then I'm like in the shot and all kinds of mess, and I'm real sensitive about stuff like that.
Mine's kind of off to the side, so I try to kind of get around a little bit, but it makes it hard to solder sometimes.
Yeah, I use a security camera that I got off the internet for like $100 for my overhead. But same thing, just a boom arm's the way to do it. Now, one thing I'll say is that, like, I've got mine right now is taken down because I'm in the process of redoing the studio. But I had it on a cheap boom arm, like a $14 boom arm off of Amazon, and it bounced a lot. So like if I bumped the desk or I was working, it would move around.
Mm-hmm.
So in my redesign, I'm going to actually use this. Was $100, this boom arm. I'm going to use this for the camera to give it more stability. And then for the microphone, I bought a blue, I can't remember, compass. It's called a blue compass.
This one right here?
Yeah, that's the one I got. I
So
like
it's
that.
pretty cool, but you need something heavy on it because once you put it down and it goes.
Yeah, this mic's pretty heavy. So
This YouTube thing ain't cheap.
no,
Liberty
no,
Cave
it's not.
saying he unsoldered 2 diodes in his 7100 day before yesterday, and is that the Mars mod, Liberty?
Does it still work? That's the big question.
He's got 27 meters now.
27 meters.
27.
He's free banding.
27 megahertz, I should say.
Oh.
I get it mixed up,
And then my chat just jumped. Where did it go?
When you said meters, I was talking about something else. meters. We've been talking. I really like this blue one. Mine says blue, but it was actually it's rebranded by some. It's made by Blue, but it was something else.
Yeah, so I got that sitting in the box over there. I gotta get everything moved over to my new table. That's gonna
I
be
really
a job.
like that one. This mic's really heavy, and the first mic stand I had wouldn't hold it hardly. And then I bought the one my camera's on, which is tall. I used it because it's taller. The nice thing about the camcorders, they have a really good zoom if you want to zoom in and stuff.
Yeah, the one that the security camera that I've got's got a pretty good zoom. The problem with it is it's manual focus, so I hate messing with it. And it also has manual aperture. And I don't know jack about cameras, but I think aperture is the ratio of light that comes into your sensor.
It's the size of the hole that it shoots through. So the smaller, the sharper, the bigger. My little bokeh stuff. That's the big things.
But isn't that the size of that hole makes how much light comes in or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the big, because your really good lenses will be like a 1.2, 1.4. Which gives you a lot of light.
All right, I'll take your word for that.
What I don't like about the camcorder, and it's probably just me because I've only had it for a little while, is I was trying to get a screen off of a radio on it one time, and I couldn't get it. And people are like, "Oh, you got to change it." Yeah, I don't know how to change the aperture, and I don't know that you can. My cameras, on the other hand, I know how to do it, and I should have hooked up another camera that day, but I didn't.
Well, I guess back on topic. Do we want to talk about 9-to-1s or?
Yeah, we'd certainly talk about 9-to-1s. We're at 99 viewers on stream. We're one away from the giveaway. Tell all your friends.
There's advantages to a 9-to-1. I don't think it's as good as an in-fed half-wave, but there are advantages to them.
Yeah, so this is not coming through as clean as it should because I use green wire on here and I've got a green screen.
You should know better, Ape.
I know. But
behind your hand, does that work?
But it's cool though because it's a green background. Just hold it over your shoulder, and then we'll see the green as green wire. There you go. See?
But so this is a 9-to-1 on a 140 mix 43 toroid, and what it is 9 windings of 3 wires. So they call that trifilar. And one of the things I did for this is I use this wire. It's PTFE or Teflon coated wire, so it can get up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. But this wire is slippery as heck. I say it's like greased owl poop because it's so hard to hold, and it's really difficult to wind this thing. But I got it done, and then
all right, we just got to 100 viewers. Giveaway time. Giveaway time is what the comment needs to be in the chat. Did I spell it right?
So start typing giveaway time, and then you'll be entered into the chat.
101. Ham Radio dude's in the running.
He's the first guy.
We'll save on postage if he wins.
This is secretly the reason why Ham Radio dude didn't join the stream today. He wanted to win the stickers.
Yep. I think his mom and Meg both wanted one of the stickers, a different one out of the pack.
Well, yeah, his mom wanted the Chuck sticker, and
I didn't want to say it, but that was
Well, I mean, he put out the video, so we know the secret's out.
That's true.
Motor City Man put in giveaway space time. Put in another one without the space in it, so we make sure we get you.
No capital G's. I heard that.
Yeah, Hammock Radio's got a capital in there,
and we'll get up to 73, and I'll hit that magic draw button.
Oh yeah, 73 is the word.
Hammock forward. that was how Hammock Radio stole it yesterday.
That's funny.
Giveaway time. 50 entries. We're getting there.
I'm going to go on a little bike ride today after the we're going to go out to lunch today on the bike.
Where are you heading?
Rutherford Grill. It's a little north of me, I think.
Excellent.
Actually, I was going to look it up. I know where it is, but I don't know where it's at. You know what I mean?
I heard the soup du jour that they have there is incredible.
It is.
Dude says if he wins, play it again. If you are a winner, feel free to enter if you've already got a set. If you are a winner and you want us to ham it forward and run the giveaway again, we'll do it again, and we'll do it with a lower entry count. We'll do it reverse auction style. All right, I think we're going to go at 55, 56. Everybody ready?
Ready.
Draw. Uh-oh.
No way.
Nice.
So he was
That's awesome.
the first one to put it in. So maybe that has something to do
So
with
that's
that.
your trick. You got to be first. Oh, let's do it again.
If he wins again, I'm going to be convinced it's fixed.
Oh,
Oh,
he was one away. Star Chapter 264. Star Chapter 264. Drop your call sign in the chat, or send us a message on Discord, or do something to get our attention. But you are the lucky winner of today's sticker pack.
Who sponsored today's sticker pack? Did we cover that?
We did. We covered. Let me pull it up real quick, because I got so much stuff going on over here. Today's sticker pack is sponsored by Brian, AD8GI. Thank you very much, Brian. If you'd like to sponsor a sticker pack, reach out to us in the Toads Discord and purchase a sticker pack and tell us to ham it forward, and we will give you a full shout out.
So what we need to do is
congratulations.
We got to make sure somebody writes that Star Chapter 264 down, and we put it in the spreadsheet so we know who got it.
Hang on a second, I'll get it for you. Hang on.
You got that whiteboard that you got there?
Yeah. Oh,
Steve's saying that's his second account. Ham it forward. Let's put this thing back in here, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another. I got to be on the right screen.
We're hamming it forward again.
Yep.
What's funny is Jim saying that we need to hold ham court because he believes it's fixed.
It is fixed. Of course, it's fixed. I got a family of falcons outside, and I'm hearing Mama Falcon call the baby falcons on how to fly.
Shoot. Sorry.
So let's do falcon. If I can spell falcon right.
So everybody's got to type falcon in there.
Yeah, so I've got a male falcon on one side of the house, and I've got a mama falcon on the other side with a couple of babies, and all day long they're just screeching away.
What is that called? Like when people are into their birds, is that called falconry?
Yeah. To own a falcon and use it for hunting is falconry, and then isn't it ornithology is the study of birds or bird watching? Ornithology is a study of birds.
Oh. I just know I like eating them, like chicken.
You're so well read, Theo. I mean, dang. Impressive.
53. We had 55 last time.
All this bird talk's making me hungry. I'm thinking I could get some chicken wings.
Ellie's got it spelled wrong. He said phallocon. Make sure you try that one more time. Get falcon in there. Peeping birds. Yep.
Peeping
it is because I hear this. I'm like, oh no. Oh, it's just you. I am correct. Thank you, T-Ray. All right, we're at 59. Let's hit that draw button. I was watching the chat. Oh, I see Ape in there.
You dang right.
What's your favorite sticker, Ape?
My favorite sticker is probably the Ape sticker, but I'm biased.
Oh, John won it.
John. All right, John.
Way to go, John. Awesome. All right, we'll take a.
You wanna roll that second? Then we have a second video for the rig expert.
We do. Let me get the note about John.
I got it. Don't worry.
All right, and then I've got another video. So after you get it all soldered together, the next thing you got to do is all of the software stuff. And I got to admit, I broke down. I went Windows on this one just to try something different. Let's see how this works out. Okay, so now we get to do some desktop screenshot type stuff. And what we've got to do first off is download some software. So let's go over to the Rig Expert page. There will be links for all of this stuff in the description down below. And I put these links in the description of the video I'm showing, not this one. So I'll fix this one later. Use today. And you can download it for Windows PC, for Mac OS, for Ubuntu. For a change of pace, I'm on Windows today. What do you think about that? After you get the Antscope 2 software downloaded, run through the install. Next, done. Typical stuff there. When you do the Arduino type work that we're going to do, you're going to need the Arduino IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Download the Arduino software. Next, done. Typical stuff there. And then once that gets downloaded on the Getting Started with Zero page, you're going to need to find the section at the bottom. We'll come back to this when we get all the software installed. Where you can copy the Arduino code into the IDE and upload it to your Arduino. Your Arduino is going to need they call it a USB printer cable. It's a USB-A to USB-B cable, or if you are so inclined to have something more modern with a USB-C port on it, then you'll need one of those special cables. But here is the software. All we have to do is copy and paste it, save it, and then we're good to go. So let's get after that. After you have all of the software installed, you want to come over to the the Rig Expert 0 page where it has the getting started like we mentioned before, and copy all of this code in this window into the Arduino IDE. I've got the Arduino IDE running. So what I want to do is select all, which would be Control A, and then I want to paste, which would be Control V. And now we have the code in here, which is going to turn your Arduino into basically a bridge. So your computer is going to use the USB port to connect to the Arduino, which is then going to convert this into serial data to send it to the Rig Expert. And then the Rig Expert will talk serial back and forth to your computer using this software. This is also a really quick way to verify that everything's working and you did a good solder job. So I'm going to click verify to verify it. And it's going to want me to save it. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. And it's compiling. And no complaints, so it must be good. Now we're going to hit the upload button. In my case, it automatically found an Arduino Uno on COM3, which is just a hair off the screen.
I didn't remember hearing that.
Arduino Uno on COM3, it says it down there. But if not, you can go to Tools.
No, that's live right now that my dog's being bad.
Board and pick your board model. Mine's an Arduino Uno. You can go to port and hit your port, which in my case is COM3. It's the only choice I have available. Then you can say get board info, and this is really teeny tiny, but it says Arduino Uno. It's got a VID, a PID, and a serial number. So now you can hack into my Uno if you ever catch it online somewhere. Next thing I want to do is hit the upload button, which is the second button on the toolbar. And it says it's compiling, and it says it's uploading, and it says it is done uploading. And the Arduino should have automatically restarted. Let's take a look. The Antscope software is huge. This is 1920 by 1080, and I can't really make it any smaller to share it out, and the buttons are pretty tiny. We'll just have to make do with it. At the bottom left corner, there is a settings button. So I'm going to click the settings button, and it pops up this dialog box, which is awkwardly sized as well.
See, this is why I don't use Windows.
And COM3 is the only COM port I have available, which is my Arduino, as we saw before. I'm going to hit Connect Analyzer. And at the top in the title bar, you will see that it says AA30, so it's found it. And then let's do a real quick antenna sweep from 7 megahertz to, what is the top of 40 meters? 7300. And I want to give it 100 points. It won't let me type that. There we go. I don't know why it was being persnickety. Let's go just out of band range just to be a little bit easier on the eyes. And I want to go to 6800 to 7500. So you'll be able to see a little bit before and after the band. And then there is this run button. So let's hit single. And there you have it. As you can see, this antenna, which is my DX Commander, is resonant in the 40 meter band all the way across the band at 2 to 1 or below. And the best point that I have is 1.1 at 7234. So you probably wouldn't need a tuner for any part of the 40 meter band. But if you wanted to use it and get the absolute best results, you'd be somewhere around this 7234 to 7241 area of the band. And there you have it. She's working, and I am happy.
I was just going to leave that awkwardly sit there for a minute or two.
I like that Rig Expert's Antscope software.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm
I
with
decided to go on Windows. I don't know why, just doing something different.
I'm with you. The layout's a little goofy in Windows there.
It's the high DPI screen that really got it.
Yeah. Jim is saying Nscope is great. It's a little different than I use NanoVNA Saver all the time, so it is a little bit different. It took a little while to find all the controls and stuff like that for me, but
you should try either direction. I think the Antscope 2 software does work with the NanoVNA, but maybe the NanoVNA software with the Rig Expert board and see what happens.
Yeah, well, the thing is like when I did use the Antscope 2 with the NanoVNA, I couldn't calibrate the NanoVNA with the software. It could have just been me not knowing what I was doing, or maybe there's a limitation there. I don't know. But that was a while ago. It was like last year. So maybe it's been updated or something like that.
Yeah.
Jim is saying he is going to unload his NanoVNA.
I'm sure if you stick it into the Swap Meet channel on Toad's Discord, it'll disappear pretty quick.
Yeah, I'd imagine that is a true statement.
The cool thing about the NanoVNA, it's the same thing as like having a Baofeng. It's $50. I mean, it's, stick it in your go bag and just, remember that you have it when you're out in the field, as opposed to the big brick MFJ one that I have that if I put it in my go bag, I'm hurting.
Yeah, so this right now just sits on my desk. This is the Rig Expert in a 3D printed box. I've been showing it off as much as I can because I'm overly proud. But
show it again.
There's no interface on here. So we do have some work that we're going to be doing, putting an LCD on here. Mm-hmm. And then Ham Radio Dude wrote some extensive code to control this with a keypad. So you can type in frequencies that you want to use. But this is Gen 1 of the 3D printed case. I'm sure they'll
probably going to have to get a little bigger, huh?
Yeah, I would say I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah, he's done some amazing things with that code. I don't know what code writing is. So.
But what's nice about this is I just leave it sit on my desk and just plug it into the USB and hook the antenna up to it, and then I'm analyzing, which is kind of nice.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, it does the thing, and then we're gonna keep experimenting with this over the next couple of weeks of Saturday and Sunday streams and make it do some more awesome things. Dude's got the screen on it, and he's got a keypad for it, and he was talking about being able to remotely look at your antenna over the internet. So you could have the Rig Expert plugged in at the shack end of the coax, and you could be standing out at the antenna making adjustments and looking at it on your phone remotely and going, oh, I need to make it shorter, and then make it shorter and see what happens.
He was saying he was going to have it tweet. He was going to have it tweet his SWR.
Oh no, look at this. Mr. Jim. So Jim from FEP Labs Radio, another fantastic YouTube channel. Let's see if we can get him some more subscribers in return. He wants us to do a giveaway.
Oh, man.
This is awesome. Okay. I wasn't sure what he was talking about when he said that at first, but we will do it, and we will choose this broadcast. Let me add that back to the stream, and we will type in FEP Labs. And where did I type that? FEP Labs. Start collecting comments. So everybody put FEP Labs in the chat. Jim, that is fantastic. That is super awesome. Thanks for being awesome, as I always say. Now you know why.
Peter, you got to redo it.
Gary put in laps. Now we're making Jim run laps. Jim's got an awesome story as to where that name came from. You'll have to ask him, or maybe Jim will put a video out on what FEP stands for.
Yeah, it needs to be exactly the way it is on the screen, guys. Capitals and all.
Jason's putting in Falcon.
Who did?
Jason, W5IPA.
I am dropping links to FEP Labs channel right as we speak.
Look at that.
So right click on them and go give them a sub.
And Mike from Ham Fisted Radio is saying, what? Ham it forward. If I win, I won't win. That's the confidence that we need here on Coffee and Ham Radios. We're up to 42 entries, so we've already got the meaning of life covered. That's like the first one. We're like 3 away from that one, Nicholas.
Yeah, I think some folks are on Team Replay or started from the beginning because a little while ago somebody else dropped a Falcon in there.
Yeah, that was it. I think he was being funny.
I think Arnie's way over my head.
Man, my tune on my antenna must have really gone out here.
Oh, wow. Jim's going crazy this morning. We're at 46. Let's hit that draw button.
Draw.
So this is for the Nano VNA.
Come on, Ape.
Evan
look at that.
Barczyk. I know how to pronounce your last name, Evan. I'm Irish. All right, let's get that one noted down for Jim.
He's got the expensive Motorola's in his avatar.
He does. And then Jim wants to give away a Tiny SA, and I'm working on a Tiny SA video myself. So let's draw again. I did.
Come on, Ape.
FEP Labs in the chat. And then make sure to subscribe to his channel, Harry Noggin.
Well, congratulations, Harry.
Harry Noggin.
This one's for you, Harry. Awesome.
So what are we saying? Just get a hold of Jim and he'll he'll ship it out for you. Is that right?
For sure. I've got notes as to who won what, and we will go and make sure that Jim takes care of all of that stuff. Jim, thank you very much. That was fantastic. All done.
T-Ray's like anyone giving a 705 away today. No, that's probably not going to happen.
Might give away a 507. Old pair of Levi's. All right, so we got both parts of the Rig Expert video squared away. We got the giveaways squared away.
We do.
And Tank says he's the winner. Tank, you're always a winner in my book. I'm your biggest fan.
That's right. Good morning, Tank.
Morning, Tank. I know it's early there in Texas.
So we were going to have Frank on the show today, but we're getting close to being out of time, and I don't want to steal any of Frank's thunder because we've got about 15 minutes left, and that would be all of Frank's intro, and then we'd have to end the show. So Frank deserves more respect than that, and I want to make sure that he gets that. So next time, Frank.
Yeah, we'll get you next. We'll get you on the flip.
I have to screen out.
I know it's really hard. You got to back way up into it.
That's what he does. He goes like this, huh?
He's fallen out of his chair doing that before.
He's got it down.
Yeah.
He was doing all this and then fell out of the chair once.
I'll tell you what, fellers, everybody that's got a YouTube channel, make sure you put your YouTube channel name in the comment. Do it 3 times for good measure, and that'll help get some subscribers over to you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Faux show.
So what's coming up next on your channel, Ape? I know you're back at it making videos again and ready to roll.
So I'm in the process of working on an antenna video where we talk about radials and radio count and how that makes a difference in your SWR. And I should have that done for Tuesday is the plan. And then after that, we were going to talk about these, but you'll just have to wait now. So this is a 9-to-1 antenna build that I'm working on. And I was going to do a 9-to-1, just a video talking about 9-to-1s and stuff like that. So I have to wait for that. And that'll probably be out later in the week, maybe next weekend. We'll have to see how it goes. I got to move my studio from this desk to the one sitting right there. And that's going to take me probably most of the week because I got to take all the lights down. I have 7 lights. So I got to take all the lights down and the 2 cameras. And it's just going to be a big pain in the behind.
7
Oh, it's a pain in the B today. It was a pain in the D yesterday.
Yeah.
It's upgrading? Downgrading?
Well, I'm going from, I think this desk is 5 feet by 2.5, and the one I'm moving to is 8 by 3. So about 12.5 square feet of workspace here to 24 feet of square feet of workspace.
I get that reference.
I'm going to call that an upgrade.
And since nobody came back with the answer, it's James Doohan.
I don't know what Jimmy's doing.
It was DeForest Kelly, James Doohan, and Chuck Thompson in that segment where Chuck invented the transparent aluminum.
That's right. The invisible aluminum.
Now somebody's got to do a deep fake and put Chuck in that scene and post it to YouTube.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So
Arnie's saying that he was. Arnie's asking about the antenna wire episode. The antenna wire episode's coming. It's coming.
Yep. I think Dude's going to do that one. I think is he up next week? I don't remember the list.
He is up on Saturday.
Okay.
But yesterday he was saying he wanted to do 3D printers for ham radio.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Gordon's talking about everybody working on the forest fires in California and all those people that are suffering from those as well. And there are forest fires everywhere. There was a forest fire in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago. There's one in Canada right now that's blowing smoke in my direction, literally, not figuratively.
We have a bunch here in California. We sent a bunch of firefighters to Colorado just recently also.
Yeah. It's been a really dry season this year, like remarkably dry.
Yeah. We started off with a lot of rain, then all of a sudden it just quit.
And then for some reason
I was tired of the rain. And it was
the Pacific Northwest, though, they got a ton of rain that was supposed to go to other places in North America.
They stole it.
They stole the rain. So the weather patterns are goofy. And then I'm sure everybody saw in Europe, there was really, really bad flooding from unprecedented rainfall there. So
Arnie's asking where my QTH is. I'm in Wisconsin.
He's saying ape, it's Earth.
Oh, ape. Sorry.
I'm from Earth.
Utah
Everybody
just has
knows
huge
apes from Nebraska.
The flat
floods and
Earth.
stuff. The flat Earth.
Yes, I mean, it's a mess.
Everybody's here from Utah today. He's riding with us. And,
Jim wants to start a holy war. I think we need to take this to the Holy Wars channel.
A TOS OGST fan forever. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't even know what that means.
Right.
He says he's the original series, original gangster Star Trek fan forever. And then he's arguing about canon because of that whole Kelvin timeline nonsense that came out.
I don't know what that is either.
Yep. See, I do the Trek thing. Are you a Trekkie or a Trekker? Which one are you, Jim? There's the Holy War right there.
Does he wear Spock ears? Like,
I've seen him. He wears them in his videos.
he should have to do that. And then, I don't know. I don't know much about the Vulcans. That's what they're called, right? Vulcans.
Yeah. or if you're in the Lord of the Rings series, they're called elves. All those pointy-eared people.
Vulcans.
He says he doesn't have any Spock ears.
No, so, I bet he does.
Yeah, right. He's probably wearing them right now.
He's got a whole drawer full of them. So is LB. Discovery did recover nicely. It started out kind of weird. Then it recovered nicely.
Discovery Channel?
No, the Star Trek Discovery series. It's hard to follow the footsteps of the original series and the Next Generation. But if you look on YouTube, there is Star Trek New Frontiers or something like that, where they took the original series and did the same sets and overdramatic lighting and music and the same characters with different actors and continued right where it left off. And it's actually a pretty good series.
Like on Star Trek, they'd be like, well, we need to check the flux capacitor to see if the iridium belt is emitted in radar. And they would look over and it's like a little red light bulb. It's like, boop, boop, boop.
And Dr. Crusher, everything with that woman was 2 cc's of antiprovaline. Everything. Go back and look. Everything. Every disease you had across the book, across the board. You broke your arm, 2 cc's of antiprovaline. You had a heart attack, 2 cc's of antiprovaline. You have a mild headache, 2 cc's of antiprovaline. I don't even know what the antiprovaline stuff is, but I am stocking up. I got a whole basement full of it.
You need that stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, Chuck, did we go over what's coming up on your channel? Because we're getting ready to make like a baby and head out.
No, I've got a video on Tuesday. It's when I went to the races, and I did show a few little races in there and some ham radio stuff that I did while I was there.
I'm looking forward to that race video.
Parachute mobile with Carlos, and I did actually get some video of him, his signal and stuff. So and how it changed to me during the time, and it did. You kind of notice that when I did get him. He was pretty strong to me. So
yeah, Excellent. And then I've got some more.
Other than that, I don't have anything that I know of right now. Maybe some solar stuff one of these days.
I've got some more 705 stuff coming up. I'm going to play around with a tuner for the 705. You'll never guess which tuner I'm going to use. Actually, you probably won't until you see the thumbnail because it's odd. But
I do. I know which one it is.
Well, because I told you. You're a fanboy anyway. I bet you don't even have one, do you?
Nope, no 705 here.
No, I meant the tuner.
I know. You said fanboy. I figured I'd throw that in there.
Exactly.
I got to get a hold of one. I've got a 705 up here, but it's not. It's fake.
Oh yeah, the 705 tissue box.
Yeah, I still need to do a video. I don't know. I guess the 705 is too old for that video now. I blew it.
It's never too old for a video.
What happened to your screen, T.O.?
Mine? I don't know. What?
You're back. You froze.
I was just taking a mic moment.
Something's wrong with my microphone.
I know.
You might get a chance to get your hands on a 705 in Huntsville.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I get my hands on one. You mean?
Yeah.
To borrow.
Knobs.
Well, I told Dude I'd bring my my Elecraft out for him so he can check it out.
Elecraft's a nice radio too.
Yeah, it doesn't have the pretty screen though. That is the draw on that 705. I think it's awesome screen on it.
Well, I heard the Elecraft is really susceptible to intermod too.
That's how they get you, Mike.
You know,
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just
actually, if you consider 10 watts, they do 10, 12 watts, and when we were on Mount Pacifico, people were like stepping all over each other up there because we were so.
Thank
close.
you, Arnie.
So maybe they are. That's an SDR, so it probably is. I think that's an SDR thing, right?
I don't know. Well, it's when intermodulation is when the components in your radio create frequencies that cause interference and stuff like that. But when you guys are all operating that close to each other in an environment like that without bandpass filters, you're probably stepping on each other pretty hard.
Even at 10 watts, it was working it. It was doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uh-oh.
Forget Your Life sold his 705.
Sold his 705. He's buying an Elecraft probably.
That's the only viable reason. It's the only reason we will accept, or else you're going to have to show up in ham court.
Get in a shagoo.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm more excited about this, and I don't know why, but that shagoo than I am the 705.
Yeah, smaller,
lighter. I want to get my
hands on it. It is smaller,
that.
lighter. It's more like. Well, I don't know. Is it? I have to ask Dude about that. How much difference the size of a 705 and his 5105 is, or whatever it is.
What? His coffee's ready
now. Thanks for letting us know.
You started brewing that coffee an hour and 20 minutes ago, son.
Maybe he grew them beans. He's probably grown the beans.
QRP Life needs to go on Amazon and find a new coffee starter.
He was roasting the beans. Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why.
It takes a while.
I still like. I almost bought an 818. He says he went back to his 818. Why is that? I wonder.
Form factor fits in the bag better.
I would say they're about the same weight, but I do like the form factor of the 818 a little bit better for just slipping into a backpack or something.
Then operating out of the backpack.
Yeah,
it's smaller. It is smaller. I will definitely agree with that.
Is it smaller? You think it's smaller?
It's smaller than the 705 for sure,
yeah.
but I don't know if it's smaller than the. No, it's probably thinner, but
it's thinner but longer,
but deeper.
Ape, do you have a 51?
I do. Hold on 1 second.
Excuse me. That was actually
there's two reasons I didn't buy the 5105 when I bought mine, and one was I thought if I decided to get out of the QRP thing, the Elecraft was easy to sell, and that radio was new at the time. The second reason was it was bigger than the KX2.
Jim's the big
cheaper
spender.
Though. What do you buy now?
He bought a 3D printer and accidentally bought two.
Oh. Wow.
Ape's unzipping. He's going to whip it out here in a minute. That was that sound that you heard.
I don't know if he heard what I said or that's what he was after or not, but
he's going to get the 5105.
What happened to me over here? My camera's not on. There we go.
You turned the camera off but left the mic on, so we heard everything you said.
when you
I,
took your
did,
switch down?
I hope I didn't say anything too bad.
Well,
So
when
anyhow,
you got up, you farted. So there was that.
no, that was my chair.
Don't believe it.
Right, whatever.
This is the
Whatever.
the 817, and I got to tell
That
you, this
thing,
screen is tiny.
Yeah.
that radio is tiny. When you see it in person, I couldn't believe
And then
how small
here
it
is
was.
the
Oh, there you go.
705.
So it's
And then-
narrower, but about the same that well,
So if you take a look at it this way,
about the same that direction.
it's just yeah. So
I'd say it's a little. I mean, overall, it seems smaller if you measure.
I
it,
think
guess.
this is an 817 is heavier, but you got to remember I've got the rails on here, so yeah, it's
No,
definitely,
if you look at
definitely heavier.
specs to specs are almost exactly the same.
Are those metal
Stock.
rails?
Yeah, those metal.
They are these are the
You didn't print those?
no, I've
Portable
had these
zero?
rails on here. Yeah, portable zero rails. These have been on here for a long time. I have the portable zero rails on my 7300 too.
Is that full duplex?
What do you mean? It has. What are you asking me?
Can it receive while you're transmitting? Can you still hear while you're transmitting?
You know what? I've never tested that, but I think you can, and that's why these are so popular with the guys who chase the birds.
Because I've seen people stack them too. You know, you
Oh,
put
yeah,
two of them
that's
together around your neck on a strap.
It's
Yeah.
it's like a mini version of my 857, basically. And
it's
I
a
thought
cool radio, but I never ever use it.
The 857's small comparatively compared to like what ICOM had their 7000 series.
It
And
is
they're
not
quite a
full
bit
duplex.
taller. No, I don't think so. That's
why people use two.
Right.
And they must be talking about Ape when they say he does a good job.
Yeah, the battery in here is completely dead. I was going to fire it up, but
So
Well,
that's
yeah.
an internal battery, right?
Mhm.
That's
yeah.
yeah.
And I've got some kind of battery pack in here, lithium battery pack, as opposed to the
Originals.
nickel metal hydride batteries or whatever. I mean, it's a nice radio. I like it. Like, I'll never sell it, but I never ever.
You need to
ever.
hook your Android up to it for the screen.
Yeah, I'll figure something out. I
That'd be a good video.
I wonder if I could run that
should do
software.
that.
What is it called? The Yaesu
The Win 4 Yaesu,
Win for Yaesu. Yeah, I
like
wonder
the
if
Win
that'll
4
work.
Icom.
Yeah, I wonder if that'll
Well,
work.
I've got. Do you have a dongle for that thing? Bluetooth?
I do. I've got no idea where it is, but I do have it.
He's
I've
got the
actually-
3D printed right angle power adapter. He's got everything.
Yeah. And then I don't want anything to happen to my precious 705, so I got to be careful with this.
Precious.
I'll just leave it right there for now.
So you'll have.
Are you
it-
just. Go ahead.
I was going to say he'd have it. He's going to have probably multiple ones at Huntsville. Super popular. Yaesu for the win. There you go. TNCT.
That's
He
the
was
no
doing
code
some-
tech.
He
I
was doing
think
some
all the-
6-meter work yesterday.
Uh-oh.
He's got a
So I-
6-meter vertical and a dipole, a horizontal dipole, I think.
He's got a boom on a rotator.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds
On a
awesome.
rotator.
He's got a Yagi. It's a beam, not a boom. Beam. Sorry.
I got you.
I knew what I meant.
Well, a Yagi does have a boom on it, so
Gordon, good luck on your test. We will miss you
Yes,
in the
good
chat,
luck.
but we will see you when you come back.
yeah. Good luck on that test. Get her done.
All right, fellas, I think we're going to end the stream here. We're going to say our goodbyes and head on out. It was great having you all.
Yep. Thanks, everybody in the
everybody.
chat. Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It was
thanks
great
for
having you
being here,
guys on the stream here.
gals.
We'll say
Awesome.
goodbye.